What's up troopers, my name is Neon, and what is the best muzzle you should be using in the game? Well, this is the video I'm going to help you. So before we get into the video, if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, would really appreciate it, and of course leave a like, thank you very much. So with all the muzzles, most of them are available when it comes to the assault class, and these are the ones that we're going to be talking about. We're going to be basically talking about everything on the left side of the tree. We're going to be talking about the extended barrel, tactical muzzle brake, Warhawk compressor, champion muzzle brake, and then the tactical compressor is what we're going to be talking about today. So let's start it off with the standard factory barrel. So this is your basic barrel in the game, and pretty much what this is just going to offer you more than anything is actually better handling. Sometimes with the default barrel, it's actually not a bad thing, especially if there's a weapon what doesn't have multiple barrels. I feel like sometimes using the standard barrel is not a bad thing. The thing is, it actually gives you the perfect balance. It doesn't really give you too many cons, but also it doesn't really give you any pros. It's just basically just a standard barrel. As I said though, troopers, if you're using something and it doesn't really have any good barrels or any muzzles or anything like that, then I suggest you should be using just a standard issue. The next one I'm talking about is the extended barrel. Well, with the assault rifles, the extended barrel, what it's actually offering you is actually the project velocity. Pretty much the further you shoot, the bullet will drop. If you use the extended barrel, there's not going to be as much of a drop, so you can actually shoot this weapon a lot more further range, and that's actually a pretty good effective thing. This weapon does perform a lot more slower, and the problem is, troopers, not everyone does like actually having a slow rate of fire weapon. It does increase the range, it increases it by 5%, but the problem is you do lose some accuracy and you lose some handling, plus you also lose that rate of fire. Honestly, the extended barrel is something you shouldn't be using. The next one, this is the tactical muzzle brake. What's pretty good about this one is it's actually going to be helping you out with a horizontal recoil. So this one right here, you should be using it for a weapon what actually has already pretty bad horizontal recoil, so you can kind of fix it with that type of way. This actually increases your recoil control. It gives you that better handling and better accuracy. But that's the thing, troopers, that is horizontal. You're also losing vertical recoil control, and that's what you really want to be using, is the vertical recoil control. So I would say the tactical muzzle brake you shouldn't be using unless it's a certain weapon what already has pretty crazy horizontal recoil. The next one, now this is a pretty interesting one, the Warhawk Compressor. What is really good about the Warhawk Compressor, this is basically the muzzle what you should be using if it comes to like recoil in general. This is the one where it's actually going to help you out more than anything. I actually use this with DMRs especially, so I don't get too much kick. And that's the thing, troopers, you do lose some accuracy with this because you lose like 6% of it, so I would suggest you should be careful when you're using assault rifles. But the thing is, increasing your handling up to 6% is pretty insane. It actually makes this weapon really good. It honestly like a laser beam because it's helping out with your recoil control. I feel like the main go-to to be using something like that is probably in the LMGs or the DMR class. The Warhawk Compressor is probably something you should be using. And the next one, now this is something I'm really excited for because I actually do use this extremely a lot. I've been using this pretty much since the game came out, and that is the champion muzzle brake. Champion muzzle brake I pretty much use for majority weapons in the game. You guys can already know how good the champion muzzle brake is. This is the one what we was talking about, was actually increasing the vertical recoil control, so making it even better for you. The problem is you do lose some horizontal recoil control, so you have to be careful the way you use it. But the thing is that it's so important to be using this gun because it increases your accuracy by 2% and your handling by 3%. Champion muzzle brake I feel like you can use for majority weapons as well. Extremely good when it comes to SMGs and really good when it comes to assault rifles. So if you're going to be using anything, I suggest you should be using the champion muzzle brake. Everyone should be using that. Now the next one is the tactical compressor. What is so good about the tactical compressor is this is basically a weapon accuracy. That's all it really offers, is just a weapon accuracy. You do lose recoil control with this, so that is something you got to understand with and learn with this weapon. The weapon accuracy buff is really important. You know, there's weapons out there what actually increases the spread the longer you shoot, so if you want to have something that actually helps you out with your accuracy, then the tactical compressor is extremely important. So honestly, troopers, out of all the things we talked about when it comes to all the muzzles, the tactical compressor is probably the go-to, and then the champion muzzle brake is extremely the go-to. But there we go, troopers, that is all the best muzzles in Battlefield 2042. Hopefully this video helped you. If it did, don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe, be a part of Pink Army, and I'll see you, troopers, on the battlefield.